Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. Welcome. We're just going to give everyone a minute to sign in here, and we'll get started in a couple minutes as I see everyone signing in. Okay. I have 2 of 5, so I'll get started, and everyone who joins, will welcome them in as well. Just to introduce everyone, I'm Nicole. I work for ICIC, and I work for the 10,000 Small Business team. I'm a deputy director on that team. We're excited to have everyone today. We're honored to have 4 amazing panelists who we'll introduce shortly. But just to introduce you to what this event is a little bit more, it's hosted by ICAN, which stands for our Inner City Alumni Network at ICIC, which is comprised of past participants of one or more of our urban business initiatives. It's really a wonderful network and empowers and serves ICIC alumni in 3 different ways, honestly, of ongoing learning and professional development, as well as visibility and recognition for their amazing small businesses that they have. And third, a network which you can explore and collaborate with many different contracting opportunities and just other small business owners. So it's really wonderful. It's a great part of ICIC, and we're honored to have it be the host of today's event as well. The program itself includes yearly networking and educational events, as well as different resources that are relevant. For example, during the pandemic, they shared a lot of amazing resources, and as well as an exclusive online community platform, which participants can get access to once they complete an ICIC program. So it's really, really great and special. Just a few organizational items as we start today's great first part Q&A we'll have for the first part, and then networking event the second part. We just ask that you mute if you're not talking so that everyone can hear the speaker talking at the time. Feel free to turn on your camera so you can see your face, we can talk to you more, get to know you. And just if you have a question, just use the chat feature or raise your hand to ask a question by clicking on that feature as well. We're just happy to take questions in any way. And then first to start I want to introduce Graham Chapman, who has joined us. He is the Director of Community Partnerships at Santander, as well as works a lot on the CSB or Cultivate Small Business program. So first, I definitely want to introduce Graham.
Thank you so much, Nicola, and thank you to ICIC for allowing me a few minutes to chat today. I do want to kind of welcome folks and talk a little bit about that Cultivate Small Business program. So I appreciate the offer. My name is Graham Chapman. I'm the Director of Community Partnerships. Santander Bank know ICIC and the team there very, very well, and thrilled to be here today. I also know I'm the only thing that's standing between everyone in a terrific panel, so I'm going to make my comments relatively brief. So let me get right into it. I'm going to start as I always do when I'm afforded an opportunity like this, and that's first by saying thank you to a variety of folks, and that's got to start with Steve Grossman and his entire team at ICIC for tireless dedication to equitable small business development in our communities. Santander is profoundly fortunate to partner with the ICIC staff. We very much prioritize the mission and values espoused by the organization. I think we all agree that the work has never been more important than it is today. So we very much applaud your efforts. I'm sure everyone else joins me in that sentiment. So congratulations, and keep up with the extraordinary work that you're doing. I'd also like to take a moment to thank our panelists today. Your insight is invaluable. Your willingness to share best practices to these entrepreneurs. It's a testament to your dedication to a strong economy. Thank you for all that you're doing here today. A special shout out in particular to our panelists from Cafe Juice Up in Boston. Cafe Juice Up is one of Santander's Cultivate Small Business alums. Great to see you here. Great to see you doing so well, and thrilled to hear from you today. So congratulations on your successes. And finally, a big thank you to everyone who is here taking the time to attend today's session. You're going to get some great information. It's going to be truly an investment in yourself and your operation. So kudos for being here. And I know it's going to be worthwhile the time that you spend interacting with our panelists this afternoon. So now let me take just 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes to do a quick pitch. And this is where I really want to thank ICIC for the opportunity to take a couple of minutes here. Before I send it back to Nicola, A quick plug for the Cultivate Small Business Program, which Nicole sort of teased a little bit in the opening. We're thrilled to partner with Sonia Moyne, who I know is in the session today, and her team at ICIC to lead this food service small business accelerator program every year. The program is focused, for those who maybe have heard of it but never really kind of gotten into the details, focused on small business development in low and moderate income communities with a primary focus on women-owned, minority-owned, and immigrant-owned businesses. The program consists of 3 to 4 months of course curriculum from Babson, another terrific partner that we've engaged for this initiative. We have a mentorship and coaching program from Santander volunteers and other peers within the food sector, as well as a capital grant from Santander Bank to help support your business and your operations once the course is essentially completed. This final point I'm going to say twice for emphasis. The program is completely free to entrepreneurs who are selected to participate. I'm going to say that again because it's really, really important. There is no obligation beyond an investment of your time. That is the only investment that you would need to make in order to benefit from this program. So it is completely free to those entrepreneurs that we select. So let me take a couple of minutes just to kind of go through some quick bullets of the Cultivate Small Business Program. Last year, we wrapped up our third cohort. So it was year three, I should say, of the Cultivate Small Business Program. Very tumultuous year, not only for our entrepreneurs, but I'm sure for all of you as well. During the pandemic, we shifted entirely to a virtual model. We made adjustments to the course curriculum to allow businesses to thrive in a challenging economy. We're really proud of this following fact. 34 entrepreneurs entered the program. 33 are still operational. That's a success rate that is far higher than the industry standard during the pandemic. It's a testament, of course, to the extraordinary entrepreneurs who will participate in the program, but it's also an indication of the efficacy of the Cultivate initiative. So we're really, really proud of that fact. This year, we blew things up. We decided we wanted to go bigger. And to ICIC's credit, as well as some of our other partners, ICIC slotted right in and indicated exactly how excited they were for us to bring this to more entrepreneurs and more markets. So ICIC, Babson, Commonwealth Kitchen, all extremely supportive in helping us reach this year over 90 entrepreneurs throughout Massachusetts and throughout New Jersey. And the good news is next year, we're going to blow it up again. We're going to once again really ratchet up the number of entrepreneurs and markets that we're going to be reaching next year. And I say all of this to conclude with an invitation. There are undoubtedly people in this virtual room here today who are a terrific fit for Cultivate Small Business. We want to hear from you. If you think your business can benefit from Cultivate Small Business, or maybe you have a small business within your network that fits the profile, we want to have a conversation with them. Reach out to me, reach out to ICIC, and let us know. We're going to start talking about recruiting for the next year's cohort. We want to talk to them to potentially engage them into the Cultivate Small Business Program for the coming months. So with that, again, I want to thank Nicole and the entire staff for affording me the opportunity to chat. I can go on for Cultivate for hours and hours, so let's start playing the music off so I know to get off the stage and get to the good stuff. So Nicole, back over to you. Everyone, please enjoy the panel and look forward to hearing how the conversation goes.
No worries. Thanks, Graham. And I should have added, I work for the 10,000 Small Business team, but I lead interviews every year for the Cultivate Small Business Program, and it's really awesome. There are a lot of amazing food businesses. I'm located in the Boston area, so it's really great to see them, and we're honored to have Graham speak to us today. Thank you, Graham. To launch into what we're going to do next, we're really excited to have 4 amazing business owners join us today. I would actually love for them to introduce themselves, and they are going to help lead our panel and answer your questions and any of that piece. So first I want to introduce Matt. Matt, tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, and where you're joining us from today.
Absolutely. Can everybody hear me okay?
Great.
Awesome. Okay, so my name is Matthew Burgess. I am from Sacramento, California. I am the co-founder of Burgess Brothers. What Burgess Brothers is, it's my twin brother and I, we put our heads together and started out in the restaurant industry, right? Food and beverage restaurant. And we quickly decided that was one of the toughest jobs we could ever do. But what came of that is we're homemade recipes from barbecue sauce to cornbread mixes that were our recipes that we actually packaged and put in the market. And so we went from the restaurant industry into packaging food products into still keeping a restaurant concept. And we put concept inside ballparks and stadiums now. in addition to generating income from food that's supplying places like Universal Studios, Hollywood, Knoxbury Farms, and the list goes on. And also having our own appliance that I do all the brains of the innovation, and my brother does all the operations. And so I create all our appliances. We had 2 appliances that were very successful on Amazon and some other sites. I'll be looking to launch a few others here soon.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks, Matthew. Nicole, tell us a little bit more about where you're joined. What's behind you in your background there today? Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. So my name is Nicole Youse. My husband and I started Crossroads Bistro out of, we're on the county-based side of Baltimore, so we're right outside the city. We have 2 food trucks now. The one in the background is actually our first one, and it was the day that we brought her home. So we did that on March 1st of 2016, and about a month later we opened. So April 4th of 2016 is the birthday of the business. We now have 2 food trucks. We do full-on catering on the side, so weddings, bar mitzvahs, anything like that. We also have a restaurant of about 25 to 30 seats in Sparrows Point, which is basically the home base. And so, yeah, it's pretty much the nitty-gritty of our business.
Thank you. Thank you. Chef Carlton, tell us more about yourself and where you're joining us from today.
Well, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chef Carlton. I am the chef and owner of Occasional Occasions by Carlton and Bon Appetit, y'all, by Carlton. And we are located in Atlanta, Georgia. Occasional Occasions by Carlton is a full-service off-premise catering company. During the pandemic, we launched our newest service, which is Bon Appetit, y'all, by Carlton, which is a gourmet e-commerce condiment line featuring sassy sauces, seasonings, sweets, and savories. So Matthew, I'll be coming after you to pick your brain later and get some advice from you. But that service is going well. Like I said, we sell that e-commerce, and so glad to see the catering is coming back on the market now in a big way compared to what it's been over the past few months. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. See, in the ICAN network, it's not just a tease that there's networking. You can see it happening right here in between our panelists. So last but not least, Fiex, can you introduce your business and where you're joining us from today as well?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Fiex, and I am one of 2 from Cafe Juice Up. We are a local juice bar, and we also sell a few other goodies like patties. We've partnered with some local other restaurants to do a couple of things, and we are in Mattapan, and we're glad to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you all for joining us. Just to remind everyone, if you have a question, feel free to raise your hand or just come off mute and ask it. And we're happy to answer as many as we can or have time for. I'm going to lead actually with the first one because I think it's top of mind for everyone. So I would ask all of you, what do you think helped keep you afloat, and what were the most crucial moves you made during the pandemic? I'll start with Matthew.
Hey, great question. But really looking at it, and I have to credit my brother Jonathan for this, is when we were in Levi Stadium, one of our concept was, and so when we heard that everything was shutting down, also we had products in theme parks. My brother quickly said, hey, I know we're out of the restaurant business, but we're really not. So you need to come up with some catering items that we can do box meals to feed first responders. And so quickly I came out with some meal concepts, and the idea was to have them cold and packaged. They could be delivered to fire stations, hospitals, what have you. And so started doing that. We probably were early on that, and my brother, I credit him for being very innovative and having that forethought. And so I think we were a little too early, because what happened is someone came in behind us with much more money, and they made it a huge program. I'm sure you guys heard like the World Food Central Kitchen and all those places where they kind of took the concept that we started with, but they just had the access, right? The networked people that we didn't have at that time. And so it kind of left our hands for a small second, but our city, the city of Sacramento, came up with the Great Plates program, which was to feed the most vulnerable, which were our seniors. And so quickly enough, we already had a study done, an RFP in place. So we submitted and we became a part of creating cold meals, heat and serve, that'd be delivered to seniors that couldn't come out during the pandemic. And it was very lucrative to keep us afloat. But one thing that we did was we looked to other restaurants within our region, right, that were struggling, that needed a lift up. And so we added them to our roster, right? And so although I oversaw those meals and I knew what the menus were, and understand that we had products in the supply space, I said, look, as long as you guys are providing the meals and using at least one of our products, we'll cut you a check, right? Because it's going to keep you afloat. And so that was how we were able to quickly maneuver through the pandemic, in addition to e-commerce. You know, I mean, our e-commerce, and we have machines on Amazon called the Chihuahua. One of the, I pride myself because I created that concept, the Chihuahua maker, and we're selling 150 units a day of that machine. And so the e-commerce really was kept us sustainable until we got some other contracting opportunities. But being able to write a RFP and compete so that you can get the city, state, or government contracts is really where it's at during these times. And we'll talk more about that later, but I'll let someone else answer that question.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I do see a hand up, so keep your hand up. I promise I'll get to you. I just want to, I saw Fiex, I saw you wanted to answer that first original question of how you stayed afloat during the pandemic as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the ways that Cafe Juice Up was able to maintain and also thrive is early on, we had access to information, which is really key, knowing what's going on. The city of Boston has been a really great partner to us for a very long time. So we just kind of really kept in touch with some key people to know what was going on with the state, what was going on with the city itself. And very early on, Denise and I, we pivoted to being able to push our product online through our different partners, which are Uber Eats, DoorDash, and so on and so forth. But what we realized is that people also still wanted the experience to come to the store, although they were not able to come in, but they still wanted to keep ordering. We never, not one day, had to close. The only time that we closed early was to make sure we sanitize, clean the place in its entirety. So what really helped us push forward and thrive throughout that time was putting in place certain systems that would allow people to order online, and online orders still remain a major part of our everyday business now. And we're actually looking to even bring it more at the forefront and minimize the usage of cash in our store.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely am guilty of that myself. I definitely online ordered from places I never used to, so I totally understand. Great advice. Chef Carlton, I know you had a follow-up to that as well.
Yeah, I agree with some of the things that Matthew and Fiex spoke of. I had to launch I launched a new service called Bon Appetit by Carlton, which is our gourmet condiment line, and we did that totally e-commerce online. But the challenge of that was it was really starting a brand new business from the ground up. So everything that was required, building a website, making the product, labeling and so forth, there's cost to that. Well, the income from the catering had come to a complete stop. So the challenge is, how are we going to, we know we've got a great concept, how are we going to grow this thing and build it, but no money's coming in from catering. So I did what turned out to be a very good thing for my company. Is sort of thought outside of the box. Everybody I spoke to, or most people I spoke to, would only mention that they got, applied for the PPP grant or the, the different grants from the government. Very rare did I hear of anybody speak of applying for corporate grants. I made it a mission to apply for every corporate grant that I could get. And was quite successful in being awarded numerous corporate grants over the past year. That alone just really helped me keep the doors open. It helped me finance the new business. It was just a huge asset. I think that if I would not have been awarded all the grants that we were fortunate enough to have won. By that, I'm not quite sure where I'd be today. So that was a true blessing and a big asset for us. And like I said, a lot of people just didn't speak of that. So that was one thing that wherever I could, I would, try to educate people and say, look, there's money out there that people are throwing at you, particularly if you are a minority, or if you are a minority business or LGBT or veteran-owned business. People were looking for people to give money to. And they're still giving away. It's slowed down a little bit now, but I still look at and follow, the different directions to see who's giving what grants. And if I qualify, I'm going to apply. I encourage everybody, because even after the COVID is over, if you will, people are still giving out grants. Corporates are, so.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I do see a hand in the audience from, I might mispronounce your names. I'm sorry. It says Elsenias/BJ. If you want to share your question with us. Oh, you're just on mute. If you want to take yourself off mute.
Okay. Hi, good evening.
Hey.
Yes, it is Elsenias after my 98-year-old mother and grandbaby. In Memphis, Tennessee. I opened 23 years ago to manufacture. My mom made the greatest cha-cha, apple butter, pickled tomato. So my thing is to do the old-fashioned items that people can't get anymore. But then I realized that people don't know you, they're not gonna buy you. So I opened a restaurant, had never been a waitress, never cooked any or anything. I just knew I had the world's greatest recipes. So what I'm doing now is how I survived also was I went online, I created a TV show, a YouTube cooking show done through Zoom, people all over the country, told my customers I needed their help. I have 20-some products online. So that is my goal, like the first guy and Mr. Carlton. I want to get into manufacturing our homemade products. So my question is, I'm getting, like I said, I've been featured on a lot of things. So that helped me to do sales. Now I just purchased my building in downtown Memphis. So I'm renovating, but I'm trying to see, should I hire a restaurant consultant? Because even though I've been in business, I look at it, always so much more you can learn. And my main goal is to manufacture, but I don't want it in grocery stores. I want like a Harry and Davis. So I want it where people can go online and they can order the cha-cha, the pickled tomato, the apple butter. I ship out dressing. I make homemade dressing. So I have the restaurant. So the restaurant is my front to get the name out. But in the consulting, which they suggest a restaurant consultant, because it's still so much I have to learn. And how can I, like I said, by being featured on different things, that helped me to get some of the website out, about the different ways you can buy the products. And if you go to www.elsenias.com, you will see like over the 20 items that I have online. So just trying to learn, because there's so much you can learn. Definitely. And that's why I was glad to be in the program, because I never had heard of it, to be honest. Yeah, and I'm in Memphis.
Awesome. To make sure I'm understanding, so a two-part question from Elsenia, and it's first, should you hire a restaurant consultant? And then second, kind of how do you decide how to move forward when you have all these pieces you've built kind of in different parts of your brand? Is that correct?
Right. But the only thing with me is I don't want to go through Amazon. I don't want to use those mechanisms.
Right. So how do you move forward without selling out kind of yourself, right?
Right. Yeah. I can't. I just, maybe if I'm going to make millions and millions and millions, but right now, I just, that third party, and I want to keep it personable. I mean, that's what have kept me in business. I used to hug every single person who came into my restaurant.
Sure.
So how COVID have really, so it's just, just getting more exposure through the website, like I said, and being featured on a lot of things, that have helped me. And that have helped me during the pandemic. Because right now I have orders for cookbooks. I have orders for t-shirts. I have orders for apple butter.
Sure.
So, I mean, I just think manufacturing is so, it's just so dynamic. And I didn't want my history so many times in the African-American community. I'm heard of our history died with our people. And I didn't want that to happen.
Sure. Awesome. I'll let first Fiex come off mute if you wanna answer one of Alessiana's questions or both of them.
Yes. So we've had a bit of an experience in trying to bottle some of our juices, smoothies, and also now we're looking to make our own milk. The first thing that I can tell you is, I think Matt may also be really good at probably answering these further, but the first thing that I can really tell you is figure out what your state regulations are. That is number one. The inspectional services are really the king of all things, and we operate at their leisure. So before jumping into manufactured things, I would probably say figure out what the labels have to be, specifics on certain products and so on and so forth, because those are really key important things. And also too, in my opinion, besides someone that's a consultant, maybe a nutritionist, because you're going to need the facts on those labels. That's what I wanted to sharing with that.
Awesome, thank you, thank you. And I know, Matt, your name just came up and you had an answer as well to the original question. If you want to share.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to piggyback off that. And so when you get into manufacture, it's something that it takes someone that's very knowledgeable, because now we're talking about FDA labels and regulations. And so one of the things that I wanted to do, because we had the restaurant too, similar, right, concepts, but I didn't want to have the headache of learning how everything changed, and it differs from state to state. Like I have a manufacturer in Oklahoma and I'm in California, but I need one of the largest in the world to produce my stuff because it's supply chain. And so I'm confident in their ability, right? Knowing all the regulations. I know the oversight of what I should know, but they change often. They know for every state because they're supplying all over. What I would encourage you to do is really look at that and say, okay, I know you have a manufacturing facility. Is that going to be a manufacturing facility, or is that going to be storage? Because if it is manufacturing, you want to make sure that you bring in the right people. And so that's going to be nutritionist, probably someone that's also in science, right, as well. And then also you're going to need your just day-to-day workers, right? And all the equipment that's going to go along with that. And so I commend you on that, because the ultimate goal is to have your own manufacturing. I understand that, but just make sure you go into it eyes wide open, and understanding that some of the challenges. So that would be the learning process. And I don't think a restaurant consultant would be the right fit for the manufacturing piece, if that's where you're going to or leading to. But I like the concept.
I'm sorry, Matt. No, the consultant is strictly for the restaurant.
Okay.
You hear me? No, I'm like I say, I just bought the restaurant. It's getting ready to open. You'd have to check me out. I am the world's greatest soul food restaurant in the world, because I have love. But no, that's for the restaurant part. And then I do have what the Felix was saying. I do have my nutrition and all of that because you have to have that if you go into the grocery stores or whatever. So I do have that on. But I'm just trying to see about what you say. Like you have a restaurant, even though I've been there for a long time. To me, you can't have too much knowledge. So do you think that's beneficial?
Yes, it's beneficial.
Okay.
Awesome. I know we have Diego's question. Before we get to that, I think I saw Nicole. Did you come off me? Did you have an answer to that? Sorry, I know it was a little while back.
No, I really didn't, but I'm on her website and it's awesome.
We're all Googling, yeah. Awesome. Diego, then you had another question.
Yeah, I had a question for both Chef Carlton and Matt. Matt, you really undersold the chur waffles. And Chef Carlton, you still haven't heard you talk about your bourbon sauce, but the power of both of those is that you guys have been able to stay true to your roots and to your community, but to build a national audience. So I think talk a little bit about building the brand to a national audience as you went online and either selling or promoting different kinds of products as you went along.
Sure. I'll tackle that question. And so really building a national brand is it's building a resume. So everything that you've done or you do up to that point. And so if you look back or you Google the Burgess Brothers, where we started at, you can find content from just going, like you said, ma'am, about your all over, right? Your local TV, when we first started the restaurant, to going on to guys grocery games, to going on to Home Shopping Network, to going on to Pickler and Ben talk show, and the list goes on. And so all those are key elements of a resume where you start to build that brand. What we used Amazon for is to get that brand not only to just California, but also to other states, Texas, Louisiana, Nevada, Idaho, all these other places to where you have social media now. And that it gave us the national exposure that we wanted. And so I know I had a great concept, but if no one knows about that concept and you're blocked, and understanding the systems that we play within, right? A lot of it's relationship based. And so what gets you outside that spectrum is the internet and social media. And so we use Amazon as a vessel. Yes, you want to take you don't want to give Amazon everything, right? Because you want your own identity. So understanding how you continue to expand your brand. When someone can go and Google Chihuahua and it comes up and it shows that you've sold so many units a day. Now, when I'm calling Disney saying, hey, I need you to look at this Chihuahua, I have credibility, right? Because it's building that brand to where you want to go. And so leverage those things so that you can. And that's just one of the things that we did. We used everything that we've done thus far, and it's continuation, right? And also when you talk about keeping a brand fresh, I vow to create a product every single year. Even in the midst of the pandemic, I created a new product. It was another appliance. And so every single year I create one new product, whether it's on my shelf, whether we release it or not, it's there because it's keeping the brand fresh, it's brand identity. So those are the things that we've done that have been very successful for us.
Awesome. Thank you. Chef Carlton, how have you worked to build your brand?
Well, it's a combination of things. Number one, word of mouth. I agree with Matthew. A lot of it has to do with your reputation and your network, supporting you and following you. We've been in business for 27 years, and so we have a pretty strong following as far as the catering company. And our Bon Appetit Y'all by Carlton is a subscription program. But you can also purchase products individually. So we promote online through Facebook ads, Instagram ads, our products, where probably the biggest item that we push is our infamous bacon bourbon barbecue sauce, because that just draws the boys to the yard, as they say. But we do a lot of advertising, like I said, with that, and am starting to look in, like Matthew was saying, the options and what the options are with Amazon, or even ads on some of the Food Network type of platforms. So we're just looking at different ways to get the word out there. But like Matthew said, it's really your reputation and your and everything we do with this. I mean, it still comes down to how you handle people. Now I'm getting, sales and contacts from people all over the country that don't know anything about me other than drooling over my sauces. But you still have to treat them like they've always been your customer. Sometimes it's hard because, you get some of these crazy comments from people and you just have to smile and say, as opposed to how you really feel. So it's still, that same customer service that we give our corporate and private catering clients, we have to do the same with this, and, go above and beyond. If something went wrong, whether it's our fault or UPS's fault or somewhere else, you got to step in immediately and let the customer know that they can depend on you and trust you, to do the right thing. And that's very important.
Awesome. Thanks, Trevor. An answer and a bit of advice there. A follow-up on something that you mentioned as well is you touched on social media and how that's kind of like helped you build your brand. Anyone else kind of ideas, around how you built your brand through social media or advertised or marketed through social media that you would want to share with the audience? Nicole? Yeah.
So as we are mobile, that's probably our biggest asset, but yet our biggest hurdle to overcome. So social media is like a pretty big component for us. And during the pandemic, we really we're fortunate because we reached out to a lot of our regular customers, and here in Maryland, the food trucks kind of started going to neighborhoods, because when everything shut down, it was pretty shut down. There wasn't places for people to go. If you did go out, you were limited to how many people you could have inside a building. It was pretty strict here. So we really found that going to neighborhoods was awesome. There was even restaurants that were hopping on the bandwagon too. If they didn't have a food truck, they were just setting up tents And people would place their orders like, you know, maybe up until 8 o'clock the night in advance. And then they would just come up to the tent for like an hour and a half, 2 hour period of time. And you just hand it out and hand it out and hand it out and hand it out. And it was pretty awesome. It still is awesome. A lot of food trucks still go to the neighborhoods. I think restaurants are still doing those deliveries because there are some people that are just afraid. They still are, you know, very hesitant to come out without masks on or to come out and eat in restaurants. And so, yeah, social media is definitely the only way we were able to have that happen. Because some of these neighborhoods around here, they're huge. And our tiny little food truck gets lost. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Guys. Thank you. I know we have talked with our panelists for a while, and I know they're very busy, so I don't want to keep them much longer. But I'd just like everyone just a little bit of advice you'd like to share to close with, and then let everyone know again, you know, the name of your business, where you are, and how to find you or reach you or your website, how they could get in touch with your business or just find more out about you. So I'll start with Matthew if you want to.
I can't believe we're done already.
I know, if I so.
I mean, this was a tease for everybody in the audience. I mean,
yeah, I will say
hey.
we do have a second portion of networking, so don't leave, but I just will let our panelists go for a little bit.
So again, my name is Matthew Burgess. I'm in Sacramento, California. I'm one of the Burgess brothers. So just to tell you guys that we have a homemade cornbread mix that I created. It was grandma's recipe. I can't take credit. It was my grandmother's. But it's packaged and now it's supplying like Harvard University and other places. A barbecue sauce, hot link, we have spice rubs, we have pasta, and all those we're primarily servicing the hospitality market. I can tell you we went retail way too quickly, you know, early, and this was in a learning stage when we didn't have groups like this to teach us, and I got excited. And at one point we had our barbecue sauce in over 350 stores in every commissary from here to Guam. And was just too much real estate. And then we got a bad deal by one of the mega suppliers, and it left us kind of stuck because we're moving too fast. So we kind of revamped that and found a nice, good cushion space in the hospitality as well as distribution. Our hot links just got into T-Mobile Arena in Vegas, so I'm excited about that. And Knoxbury Farms, they're eating them up pretty bit by the pallets. So anybody that's into manufacturing stuff like that, and I'm always looking for folks to collaborate with, because we've signed a national partnership with Airmark Hospitality. They're putting our Burgess Brothers concept. We had a restaurant before. They're putting a Sac State's campus, and they're looking to go on other campuses out within the region. Ambition to our concept being expanded in Levi Stadium, the Chihuahua and Chicken, something we created. So I put products into the supply chain is what I like to say, in a massive way, and not by the cases, but by the pallets and truckloads. So
awesome.
I'm done speaking. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Fiex, can you share one more time where you're from, a piece of advice, and then how people can find you?
Sure. So this is Fiex from Cafe Juice Up. We're located in Mattapan or Boston, Mass. We are a juice bar. One piece of advice, well, I have many because I've never been involved in the restaurant business before, neither has my partner, Denise. So we've learned a tremendous amount of things over the past course of, you know, we opened in January 2019. So can you imagine it in 2020 happened, right? So it was just kind of like, whoa. However, through so many different resources, whether it was Commonwealth Kitchen, the city of Boston, it's cultivating a small business. I'm sure I'm missing some people here, and you know they have been really fantastic to us. But one thing that we did learn through a recent collaboration with Resilient Restaurants, is that purpose and why is absolutely important. You have to have a purpose. There has to be a why to what you're doing. You know, so many people can start a business and, you know, it could be lucrative. You could be making tons of money to it. But, you know, we've learned in the restaurant business how we make people to feel when they walk inside of Cafe Juice Up, how we make them think about who we are. Our branding and everything that comes with the store is what really drives our business. You know, we do have great products, but after a while, you know, people may get tired of these things. But why are you doing what you're doing, and how are you making people to feel? One thing that Denise and I like to say is that we are in the business of people before we are actually in the business of juices and smoothies, because our people keep on coming back because of our why and our purpose. So I would definitely encourage anybody out there who's looking to start something to really think about your why and your purpose. That's the biggest advice I can give as of today.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks. Nicole, share with us as well.
My biggest advice or recommendation for you all would just be to believe in yourself and back yourself, because there's gonna be people out there that completely will destroy and devastate you. And going at it every day is hard. And just look in the mirror and take a deep breath and just be proud of like the tiny little bit of accomplishments that you made, because eventually over time they will add up. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm in Baltimore, so if you ever come to Baltimore, let me know. They all have my contact information, and I'd love to see anybody.
Awesome. Thank you. Chef Carlton, last but not least, could you share with us as well?
So one of the biggest lessons that I learned through this was to diversify. When catering came to an end, you know, for those that didn't have a plan B, it was devastating. I was fortunate enough to have a business coach that actually warned all of us about this in January before it, you know, after the first incident hit the United States. So a lot of people, it still wasn't on their radar. We started preparing back then. And a lot of people may look at it now and say, well, it's, you know, a little bit too late to pivot, if you will, now. But I would say still consider that, because, you know, diversifying your company, after that lesson, I told myself, never again will I, you know, run my business to where I'm only doing one thing. And if that one thing comes to an end, that's it. So creating the Bon Appetit Y'all by Carlton brand and diversifying in that, of course, it was still related to the food industry. It was something that I've been passionate about for years. I actually initially launched it about 10 years ago, but never did put any energy behind it, and figured this was the perfect time to do that. So diversifying just gives you the opportunity to, you know, if something like this happens again, you do now have a plan B, but make it, you know, something that makes sense. And I always relate to this story. This one store that I saw that still baffles me to this day, and their sign said wings and cell phones. Well, you know, that's a great concept in your own mind. I don't know who else's. So it has to do something that makes sense, and something that you're still passionate about. You can put all your energy, and it's something that's not going to feel like you're running a totally different business, but something that's related to what you're doing. And I invite everyone to go out and check out my incredible sauces, seasonings, jams, and jellies, like our bacon bourbon barbecue sauce, our peach bourbon. We've got a chocolate raspberry jam. We've got a Pinot Noir red wine jam. We've got gourmet ketchups and seasonings, and they're all at shoppantrypicks.com. So go check it out, and you can sign up for our subscription program as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and a big virtual round of applause to all of our panelists. Thank you for joining us. We're now going to move to our second portion of the event. I know some of our panelists will have to go, but they're welcome to stay. We're going to do just 2 quick breakout rounds for about 6 minutes each, and then we'll come back after each one and just kind of share briefly as a group. Feel free when you join the breakout rooms, please feel free to come off mute, turn your camera on, no judgment here at all, just so you can talk with it in your small groups and network a little bit better. And make sure to stay to the end, because we have some exciting gifts to give away from Vinyl Bakery and Sauce Goddess. So stay to the end to do that, but we'll break out into our sessions momentarily here. The first prompt is going to be, what brought you here today and what's your story? So a little bit, kind of introduce yourself, share a little bit more about what brought you here today in your breakout room. So I think give us a moment. We will.
Welcome back, everyone.
I'm still on mute. Thanks, Callan. Yeah, welcome back, everyone. Anyone want to share an overall thought from that you just talked about with their group on, or anything?
Yes, we need to connect Matt with Tracy. Matt, Tracy wanted to know if you guys are adding desserts, particularly pound cake. So you guys will need to have a connection now. Make sure that that happens later.
Okay. Is it something that can be packaged? Like, what's the shelf life in it?
Well, right now it's that's one of the things I want to talk to you about. It could be frozen, but right now they're freshly made. So the shelf life is only 7 to 10 days. It doesn't have any preservatives in now, but we're looking to work with a co-packer and offer it as a frozen item that can be like a thaw and serve.
Gotcha. Okay. I like that. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's doable.
We can share contact information amongst everyone offline too.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I know we're going to run a little bit over here, just a couple minutes. So we just want to do one more to give everyone a little bit of time to talk to each other again. So the prompt this time will be a little bit different, but just what is the best advice you have received as a business owner? And so we'll encourage you to share that. We'll just take a minute here. I know we're just adjusting to different breakout rooms, and then you'll go out, and then we'll come back and we'll give away the gift cards as well to Vinyl Bakery and Sauce Goddess. So don't leave yet. We're just going to run about 10 minutes over. I want to give you all about another 6 minutes or so in breakout rooms, and then we'll come back as a group again. So just bear with me.
Nicole, we are all set.
Okay, perfect. We'll send you away again. Thanks, everyone. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Everyone join in. Any amazing advice you want to share with the group that you heard in your small groups, or anything anyone wants to share about their smaller groups?
Nicole, I do want to share, but it didn't come up. It came up in terms of, sometimes you may see systematic issues, right? Whether you're running your small business or whether you're running, or the space that you are trying to better is, maybe it's hard to solve on your own. And so Matthew just gave a really great advice, is that it shouldn't be all on your shoulders, right? You should maybe seek out and talk to your policymakers, your councilman people. So the role of advocacy in small businesses, no matter what the business is, whether it's food-based businesses, real estate development business, and anything else.
Definitely. Great point. Alsenia, I think you had your hand up as well. Yep.
Yes, I was blessed to have Matthews and Mr. Carlton. Matthews, please send me your information, because he made me think, like when I said I want my own manufacturing company, that maybe not like that, but you have to look at you have to weigh both sides. And his weighing his side, so far I'm trying to toward his side, tell him maybe. And then Mr. Carlton, like he was telling me about how he have a business coach. And because I was saying, I can't really tell you the best advice, because I really, really didn't have it till lately to understand what you really need in business, So I was just walking blind dead, I guess. And thank to God that I'm still in business for 23 years. But he was saying he had a business coach for 7 years. So what I'm trying to do now is get an advisory board with people in different fields, that can help me. And I told him, I think that's kind of on the same line as a business coach. So I am really now learning how to try to run a business after 23 years, No,
always learning, right? That's
right. I'm trying to see what I want to be when I grow up. So I'm trying to grow up.
Me too, definitely. Awesome. Well, thank you everyone again. Just to wrap up, a couple of things before you all go. So one, thank you again for attending. Thank you to our amazing panelists. If anyone has any follow-up questions or anything like that, please don't hesitate to email us. It's ICAN, so ICAN @ICIC.org, as well as follow us on social media. You can subscribe to our newsletters. Anything like that can be found on our website as well. Exciting part, as we've gotten to the end, I do want to announce our gift card winners. So virtual drum roll with me. And I'm excited to say that Tracy has won. Yes. Tracy, you will be getting the gift card from Sauce Goddess, and we'll email you to connect with you on that more. And then Surya Joint, you have won our gift card from Vinyl Bakery. So congratulations to you both. We'll email you for details on those. Thank you again to our panelists, to everyone. We're gonna leave now. If anyone had, I know breakout groups sometimes cut you off quickly. If you had follow-up or questions or just want to stay and talk more, I'll exit out and just stay in the main room, and you can keep chatting if there's anyone else who wanted to chat with as well. But thank you all for attending, and we hope to see you soon.